So it makes me think of when I'm doing the show notes for the podcast, we have the podcast heading, which gets you a sense of what the show is about. So you're like, that sounds interesting. I'd like to listen to that. And then in the show notes themselves, there's, these are the 3 myths we debunked. 1, 2, 3. And so you have an outline of what is going to be in the show. And then you're like, do I want to listen to that or not? And you make a decision, which is getting back to your original point, based on the clarity of that information and the organization of it.
Yes. The clarity and the quality. Yes. So it's clear. That's great. Now, does that look interesting to me? That's the quality piece. Yeah.
Yes,
both amazing. Of those things. Much easier to see if it's quality, if it's clear.
Okay. So this is all starting to kind of cement for me. So I love that this is happening. Okay. So we've had our 2 myths debunked. Tell us number 3.
Third one is that topics equal structure. So if we think of your podcast example, so if you were to say the topic for today was business communication skills. Okay, it's pretty general, but what are we saying about business communication skills? What's the message really? So it's very easy to have a structure that's laid out with, as I see a lot of people do, what we're doing, when we'll do it, why we'll do it. Those sorts of titles, that's not a helpful structure. All that does is collect information. Business templates often do that too, because leaders want you to make sure you've actually thought about something. So they'll give you a whole lot of topics and say, fill in this template, this business case template, so that, we know you've thought about the risks and the options and all these other sorts of things. And that's helpful. But what it doesn't do is crystallize, if you think business case, why we should invest $1 million in this new technology. You actually still have to read all the things to work that out. So thinking about what your messaging is, not just what you're going to talk about, is the shift.
All right. So this basically sounds like the whole Simon Sinek idea of start with why.
Possibly that can be a structure, but it's not the only structure.
Okay.
So I think he's really onto something, that people need to understand why before they understand what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Absolutely. That's true. So the question comes in a business setting though. Let's say your leaders already have agreed why. You've already persuaded them why something's really important. And they said, go away. Tell me how we should do that. So then you come back and you say, look, last time we got together, we agreed that we'd come up with a plan for how to fix this technology problem. We've now got a plan. We recommend implementing this technology solution this particular way. Okay, well, great. Well, let's talk about that. Why is that the right way? But also, why are these steps the right steps? So it can come together. Or it could be just, okay, how are we going to do it? Depends on the context. And that's the art of it all, really understanding where your audience is and what you need to achieve to get your situation to progress quickly to the next level.
I think that's actually a really important tip. So I appreciate you sharing that. And, just recently I got approached to do a burnout training for an organization. And I thought, these people aren't in my world. Part of my proposal has to be explaining to them what you need to know about burnout, because their initial proposal was, why don't you come in and talk to our team for an hour? And I'm like, if people are burned out, talking to you guys for an hour will not solve anything. Like, we actually have to work together. It's going to be a project.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, I really need to educate them about what happens with burnout and why do people burn out and what does it take to recover from burnout? Like all the things, right? Like give them a little synopsis in the proposal before I even talk about the solution.
Absolutely. I understand your problem. Yes. So, if we're thinking about proposals in your setting there, we have a way of sort of incorporating that in there as well. So, really showing to the audience that, or the prospect there, that you understand the issues that they are facing, and that just connecting the dots by doing that, so that they go, yeah, that's right. That's what we've got. That's the problem we've got.
And that's exactly how I was thinking about it, connecting the dots, right? It's like starting with, here's the problem that you presented to me. This is like what you're saying you're currently facing. Here's what you need to know about burnout. And then now we can start to talk about what I propose as a solution, and here's why.
Yes. And why it's the right solution for you.
Yes.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think what you described there is pretty classic too, to what happens in the business setting when people are asked to write a paper on something. Go do something on communication skills. Go do something on, tell everyone about the project you're working on. Or, the board wants to know something about this new tool and how it's going to solve our data analytics issue. Okay. Why? Why do they want to know that? How did that question come about? What difference will it make if I tell them? So what do? I just throw everything in, because then, I can't be wrong because everything's there. It's tempting, isn't it?
So it's like a risk management approach, maybe.
Well, yes, to an extent it is. It is. Yeah. And it just takes a few questions to get that context, which sometimes can be hard to get,
Yeah.
Okay. So to get the answers to.
So just to recap, we're saying that you want to put your main point at the beginning rather than wait until the end, that shorter isn't necessarily better, that you want to focus less on the length and more on the quality and the way that it's structured, so things really are easy to sort through.
Yes.
And that what was it again?
The final one, that topics aren't structure.
The topics aren't structure.
Yeah. So you want a message, not a topic, as your structure. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So this has been really cool, and I can see how this is really valuable, not just in a work setting, which clearly that's super helpful there, because you've already mentioned if you're feeling frustrated because you're getting all this feedback, you constantly have to edit everything that you write, or you're not getting the responsiveness that you want, or you are spending your nights and weekends rewriting everything, all of that can certainly make you very bitter, lose your confidence, and certainly keep you from being able to recharge when you need to. So for all those reasons, super important in the business setting. And I think those same concepts can be applied also in your relationships, right? So when we're communicating to people, maybe starting out with, here's why I called you, or here's what I would like to propose, and this is why I'm suggesting this, right? So I really encourage everybody to think about these ideas. I think you have so much expertise and knowledge, and I love to be able to take these kinds of amazing tips and see where else we can start to use them, because certainly communication is having the same sort of effect in different settings for sure. So this was really great. Davina, can you tell us, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, she is absolutely brilliant, we need to bring her into our company, like, where do they go to find you?
So if they go to my website, they'll find all sorts of things or ways that I can help. And it's www, of course, clarityfirstprogram.com. That's the best place to go. And I have a free course if people are interested as well. So if you go to clarityfirstprogram.com and then put a /CWI, which is short for Communicate with Impact, then there's a free course that might give you some more ideas as well.
I love it. And if you are listening to this and you are getting a ton of value from Davina and all of our guests on the show, I hope that you would subscribe and really support us by reviewing us, telling us what you think, how you feel listening to all this, and what you're going to do differently because of this information. And of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can always leave me a comment or questions for me to answer in future episodes. And I'd hope that you would recommend the show to anyone who is struggling with burnout. Of course, if you'd like to take the next step with me to decode your burnout, you can go to decodeyourburnout.com. We'll see you back here again next week. Take care.